Oh, it's a remake of a remaster, isn't it?
Fucking ridiculous, the place we're at now. We're playing the remaster of the remaster of the remaster, guys, and then there's a remake of that remaster. OMG, bloody hell. Hello and welcome to 360 Gamercast, episode 232 for Tuesday, the 12th of November, 2024. I'm your host, Mark Webb, gamertag, Pearson ID, Steam ID, Webby360G, and joining me this evening is...
He's back, it's PlayStation Peebs.
And still here from last week, Sensei Switch.
Old school. However, times have changed. Peebs is now a PlayStation fanboy. I never thought I'd live to see the day.
I know. It's mad, isn't it? Although I think last time I was slowly going over. It's been a slow process, but I'm sort of fully fledged. I wouldn't say fanboy, because I still pay for my Game Pass, and I still obviously play Call of Duty, Warzone on my Xbox, but PlayStation is the main console now. I've upgraded to the top tier premium, whatever they call it on that PlayStation. I don't really get the PlayStation versions, but I subscribe to the top one, and so that's where all my main games are going now, what I'm purchasing.
And what's caused this switch, Peebs? Because you were always such an Xbox fanboy. Always after that gamer score.
I was always chasing the gamer score, and obviously you've now overtaken me. I mean, that was one of my big aims back in the day, wasn't it? It was to, because when I first joined the community, Webby was, I don't know, 10, 15,000 gamer score ahead of me, and I managed to catch him up and surpass him by some mile, but
yeah.
Webby then made it his aim this last year or 18 months to overtake me, but obviously he was playing shite. Them stupid games like Daddy Yickin, calling you out.
Well, I actually took my inspiration from him. I went through
Bench 5.
I actually went through his achievement list games and copied the games. So
I think he was.
That,
Yeah, he was chasing the 1 million, wasn't he?
And he's hit it now, hasn't he? Yeah?
Yeah, he's hit that. But, I think I'm stuck around 350,000. Obviously now I've gone over to PlayStation and I'm racking up the trophies. But yeah, I don't really know. I think it was... like I've said in the past, I like the layout better. I think, especially now I've got the Pro, but everything's just crisper, I've always found. I don't know if it's just in my head, but I know Stunty said it in the past as well. I just find the dashboard a bit clearer. It's easier. Everything on the Xbox just seems, I don't know, a bit kiddified. And even now, the Game Pass games are, 70% of them are flipping kids games half the time, or it seems to me. It might be just me, but I just feel like the PlayStation's a bit more of a grown-up console now. Controversial, I know. But...
Well, I have to say that looking at the pricing of the PS5 Pro, the peripherals, the piecing out of, in my mind, essential things like a fucking disk drive, I would say that PlayStation is the Apple of the gaming world.
Yeah, you can't disagree, really. Yeah, I mean, obviously I did fork out on the Pro, which was a lot of money, which, to be fair, I mean, yeah, it's a lot of money regardless of however way you look at it. But I was running on a second-hand PlayStation launch console, and I paid $650 for that second-hand CEX when when they first came out and everyone was struggling to get hold of one.
Yeah.
I just bit the bullet and bought a second-hand one. So I thought, well, I've had it 2 years now. I don't know how exactly, but it's got to be over 2 years. And I thought, that's come out. I thought, get rid of that, get the new one in, brand new. I managed to get in the pre-order. I sort of fell for the hype a little bit as well when everyone was on there. Because I was looking for one of the PlayStation Anniversary ones, but obviously they went fucking quick. But I managed just to get the normal one, and then obviously then it was trying to scrounge around for a disc drive, because I thought, although I do primarily buy most of mine digital, I still have the odd disc, and I've just not long bought the FC25 on disc, and I thought, well, I can't not have a disc drive, so I bought a disc drive, but there were still quite a few of them about when I bought mine, but I think people in the community have found them quite difficult to get hold of now.
Yeah, I think I mentioned last week there's a bit of a shortage in all of Europe. There's a lot of places that have been complaining about it. I mean, I know you're both happy with your consoles, and I think that's great. But, you know, does a small part of you feel that it's a little bit overpriced, and that doesn't make you feel a little bit sad that consoles are now coming out without a fucking disc drive or any way to play your physical media without spending a lot of money to attach said physical media?
Yeah.
You know, because because in my mind, Darren, sorry to interrupt you, is you're paying for a premium product. That premium product should come with all the bells and whistles.
Bells and whistles,
yeah, like the stand, like the disc drive. It should just be part of the package. That's just my opinion on it, and you know, I'm not saying, you know, it's not worth it, you know, because you guys have bought it and you like it and you've got your reasons, which I'm quite intrigued to hear actually. But it, like, the reason I said they're the Apple of the gaming world is because it's something that Apple would do, isn't it? You know, they'd say you this premium product and then like, oh, you want this thing? That's an extra 50 quid. You want that thing? That's an extra 20 quid or whatever, you know?
Oh, yeah, definitely agree, because just you only get a standard controller in it as well, which I thought was a bit, like I say, I mean, it's expensive for what it is, regardless, but you thought for that price you want to be getting a disc drive, you perhaps want to be getting a slightly better controller, you want to be getting a stand, you know, things like that.
Is this the most expensive console to ever come out, or was the Neo Geo more expensive? I can't.
Oh no, the Neo Geo was only about 400 quid, 350, 400 quid, I think, maybe even cheaper than that.
So
because of the cost of hardware back then, but like if you raise that for inflation,
I know what you're saying,
years ago and stuff. But yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, speaking of the Neo Geo, you asked me if I'm used to paying that kind of price. I used to pay 200 and something to £300 for my games. Yeah,
and that's then as well. That's 90s. So
that's ridiculous.
But you know, I can't remember, and this is what I was asking. I can't remember of a games console being that expensive ever, because they usually like price them around the £300, £400, £500.
500, yeah.
And then make their money up with game sales, etc. And I don't know, like
especially for a mid-cycle upgrade, because it's not like it's a new console, is it? It's not like it's the new generation, next generation.
So this is what I'm trying to say is it makes me feel a little bit worried about what the pricing's going to be on the PlayStation 6, the new Xbox or whatever it is, even the new Nintendo. You know, it kind of seems to me that are they testing the waters? You know, how much of these are the next gen consoles going to be? Because if they're like 700 quid or whatever, that's a lot of money to be spending on a games console. And I know there's arguments out there, wow, people are more than happy to spend over £1,000 on a phone. But I'm like, there's a big difference between a games console and a fucking phone that you use every day and you use for everything, right? You know, so I think...
Do we know how well it's sold?
I think it's sold quite well. It's not sold out anywhere, though. So... And but the other thing that I get thinking about this is, like with Xbox, I've got the Series S and the Series X, and the Series S is like outsold the X by nearly double. So obviously people are still wanting that kind of budget alternative. So I'm kind of like, who are these pros really for? And I'm hoping you can answer this question for me, because I'm quite intrigued to hear what improvements it actually has from actual users, not just YouTube videos.
Well, Darren's probably best because I've not played it too much and I'm not as technical. I mean, I put FC25 on tonight after work, and I wasn't even sure if that was one of the games enhanced for Pro, but to me, it looks a hell of a lot better, crisper, clearer. But that's the only real game I've tried so far.
Yeah. I mean, it was obviously always sold as kind of like a bit like the PS4 Pro, wasn't it? Like as like a thing for people if they kind of want it. And obviously the Pro was successful enough, like the PS4 was successful enough for them to think about doing it again. So it's generally, you're not, if you're buying it, you're not going to buy this for your kids. It's not that kind of a thing. It's for the sort of like, generally I'd say like the working person, someone who wants to come home and just chill out or just have the best version that you can kind of get if you've got the TV that actually supports it.
Yeah, because
that's another issue. If you haven't got a 4K TV, absolutely pointless. If you haven't got a 120 hertz TV, again, slightly pointless.
Yeah.
To a degree, even though some of the games I've been playing have been like mainly 60, to be honest, and I'm quite happy with 60. It's just nice when they do go above or you're given the option. But sometimes, if you're given the option for a crisper image at 60 FPS, am I going to go to a blurrier image for extra FPS? No. I think 60 is fine. A 30 is kind of now the point where you're kind of like, ugh, where you really do sort of notice.
Yeah, but I think, like, I mean, I've been seeing different things online, and I'm hoping this can be clarified by you guys who've, well, more Darren, because I know Peebs have been playing the soccer game. So, because the way that I saw it sold advertised was it wasn't really an increase in graphical prowess. It was more, that graphical mode for the PS5 but at 60 FPS, but then I've seen examples like Alan Wake 2 where it still only runs at 30 FPS but with extra graphical options, and I've seen articles.
Alan Wake 2 seems poorly optimised, to be honest, from what I've heard. Like there's certain we've always, I mean, I've said this for a while, like you'll get certain games where it's like, oh, we've finally got it to run at 60 FPS and a decent resolution, and then I'll sit there every day and I'll do my daily on, like I said, Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Yeah.
And the visuals in that game look fantastic.
Yeah.
The HDR is amazing, and it's been 60 FPS and a quality resolution literally just after the console launched almost 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And then you'll still get other games that sort of struggle. It's either the engines they use or how well the developers themselves know how to utilise the system that it's being created on.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just intrigued to see how much extra grunt this is actually given, because the CPU is the same. It's just a bit of extra boost on the old graphical front, on the graphics card. But it's like, I'm seeing reports that it's not really a huge upgrade. Other people are saying, oh, it's amazing, etc. But I don't know, man. Obviously, I think people are forgetting it's a mid-gen upgrade, and we're probably going to see a PS6 in 2 or 3 years anyway.
Yeah, I think they've sort of, like, people have kind of worked out that maybe 2028, 2029, you'll start seeing, like, rumours or stuff of a new system.
So I don't know, man. I mean, because from what I saw shown, it wasn't enough to engage myself. Because I'm just quite happy with what the PS5 games look like anyway. And I think this is just a personal thing. I got sucked. I feel like I got suckered in last gen with a PS4 Pro and Xbox One X. And then only a couple of years later, obviously the new consoles were out, and I thought to myself, well, why have I fucking spent money buying these mid-gen upgrades, and then I'm buying the next-gen consoles afterwards? I should have just skipped them. And that's how I came out of that generation feeling on both sides, both Xbox and PlayStation.
Yeah, I still think the One X is one of the best-looking systems of the last decade or so, I'd say.
I mean, that Scorpio edition was pretty nice. But I mean,
I did actually hear, like, because obviously with this system, the main sort of thing is certain games seem to get like a nice boost, even without a patch. Like I heard that you can apparently play GT7 in native 4K at 120 FPS.
That's cool.
And that's without the patch.
That's
cool. That's
without
the Pro patch.
I saw something about it running at...
doing it.
I just did see something about it running at 8K as well. I saw some article, which I thought...
and the other thing that I'm kind of interested to know, because nothing's really talked about it, although I have heard reports it does. Obviously, the PS4 Pro did a nice boost for the VR.
Yeah.
And obviously, does the PS5 Pro give any boosts to the VR? And I've heard that on some games it kind of does. I haven't actually tested it out.
Yeah.
But that would be nice.
Definitely.
Obviously to see if it increases those anymore or stops stuttering and stuff. Because from what I've basically noticed with some of the games I've tried and tested, if the game has an uncapped frame rate, that's going to be good. If a game is literally capped at a certain frame rate, you're not going to see any bonus from it.
Yeah. I have also seen that
a bit later on I will talk about the different games I've tried and stuff as we sort of skip through. I've tried quite a few different things here and there.
Have you tried any PS4 games with that toggle? Because there's a oh cool, yeah. Because I don't know why it's not on. I have seen this. It's in the menus, and you got to turn it on to boost your PS4 games.
I think it's because I watched the video and there was one PS4 game that they tried with it switched on and it went completely haywire, and I think it's Just Cause, one of the Just Cause games.
Right.
Like, it's literally just like artifacts are flashing all over the place. Like, everything's kind of breaking up. So the reason that it's obviously not on by default is because it's then down to the customer to turn it on.
Yeah.
And also it does blatantly state at the bottom on certain games, like almost hashed like a little, what do we call it, the star thing.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
To sort of basically to save them from getting in any legal issues with like, oh, you sold so-and-so. Because it's actually kind of funny, because if you were to look at the PS5 Pro box...
Yeah.
And then look at the PS5 box.
Yeah.
The PS5 box looks like it's better.
Yeah, because it has the 8K symbol on it, but they've removed it.
8K on it. Yeah.
I know. I saw that. That's funny as. And that's funny because that's something I talked about donkeys ago when the PS5 come out. I said, "Oh God, how can they advertise this? A load of shit."
Because I think there was like two games that run in 8K, and they were both like indie downloadable games or something. Like probably like Snake 2020.
Yeah.
I can play it in 8K. And to be honest, I think I was listening to some of the Digital Foundry guys talking or mentioning the 8K stuff.
Yeah.
And obviously you're going to need a big screen for 8K. Again, the only reason we really are into the 4K stuff now is because TVs have gotten bigger. And the bigger you make your image, the more sort of you're going to notice jaggies and other things like that, and having a higher resolution eliminates those.
Yeah.
So sort of I've heard that not far off 8K is kind of where you're entering into like technically the whole Apple Retina display kind of shit, where it's you can't see any more resolution in the human eye than what this does. But then you're looking at a phone, so obviously the screen's a lot smaller. Because I remember back in the day I had a little monitor at my work, which was, I think it was only about 720p.
Yeah.
But I used to play stuff on that, like Gears of War.
Yeah,
and it looked amazing compared to me being at home with an HDMI and 1080p.
Yeah.
Because the image is smaller, so everything just looks crisper and more defined.
For sure. So what's your both of you, what's your impressions of the Pro then? Are you like, obviously the setting it up, was that easy? And then just give me examples of some of the games.
Yeah.
How did you get on with setting it up, Peebs?
Well, I tried to do it the old... I weren't sure how it was going to do, because I weren't sure if all my stuff was on the cloud or whether it was saved to the PlayStation. So what I did was set... Because I still had my old PlayStation 5 here, I set them both up. And what you do is, when the switch on the Pro, it will say, do you want to transfer all your stuff over? But obviously you've got to have both consoles on. So I had them both set up side by side and just transferred everything over.
Yeah, you
fine.
can either do the transfer through the Wi-Fi, which is what I did, but then I did notice underneath that you could actually do it with a LAN cable, and I was like, that would probably be less like of the stress, because obviously doing it through Wi-Fi, if your internet drops out partway through your transfer, initially you'd be like, oh shit, but thankfully when you do move stuff from one system to the other, it doesn't remove it off the original one, so it's still on there as well.
Yeah.
It just kind of duplicates it.
Yeah, well, once I transferred everything over, I factory resetted my old one, because the plan was to go CEX with it and just get cash for it. I don't know what. I think when I first looked, it was about £300 and some pound. I thought, well, that'll pay towards the Pro. But then I made the mistake of telling my son what I was doing, and he was like, "Oh, I would want it. I want it." I was like, "Oh, for fuck's sake!" So I said, "Well." So I was going to get £300 from it in CEX. He says, you can have it for £150. You pay me £150 a month. Because he's got a job at Tesco's and stuff. And I thought, well, I don't really want to give him it for free. But then you feel bad for charging his son for it. But he's 20 and he's got a job. So it's not like he's, you know what I mean? So, and then the other thing, he was like, oh, well, you could give me it for Christmas if you want. I said, oh, I don't really want to be giving you a second-hand PlayStation that I've had for Christmas either. So yeah, he'll be having that, and then he wants Silent Hill for Christmas as well. So, but I bought mine digitally, so I've got to buy it physically now for him for Christmas.
Nice. I think the only part of sorting out the Pro that I didn't particularly like was removing those plates.
Yeah, I always dodgy about.
Felt like I was
you're going to snap them off.
Yeah, I felt like I was literally snapping them off. Whereas with the original PS5, you just kind of pull the whole thing towards you and it just pops out. Whereas these, you kind of just prise them up until they just pop up. But they pop up with such a noise where you think, oh, I've just sheared some plastic off here somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, it's a bit kind of worrying. So, yeah, that was kind of annoying because obviously I had to do it twice. Have you got an expanded memory, or are you just using what you've got on there?
Just what I've got at the minute. What is it? Is it terabyte?
2 terabytes, or just under.
So I'll be all right.
It's going to be sectioned off for other bits and bobs.
Yeah, I mean that's plenty for me at the minute.
So
I do buy a lot of stuff digital, but
I believe the expansion port for your memory is the top right-hand corner, or the top right-hand sheet you pop off. So I think I ended up popping off most of them just looking for it. And also, this system, the Pro, actually has something in there that people have been asking for ages. And it's to do with the internal battery of the system. Because some of the older systems have got internal batteries on them that kind of after X amount of times when those batteries die, you're kind of going to struggle to get the system to kind of work or remember what you have.
Right.
Whereas this one has got one on there which it's just almost like the SSD. You can just open it up, unscrew it and pop it out and then put a new one in and job done. So it basically means the console's a lot more easier for longevity-wise. Although I have seen other videos as well of people opening the actual system up to look at the internal components. And they're quite well fastened together and stuff, so you'd probably really have to send it off to get someone to fix it rather than just having John down the local repair shop have a butcher's.
Yeah.
But yeah, the disk drive was kind of weird. I take it you got the disk drive thing as well, where it just kind of pops in, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean that's simple enough to sort of put in and stuff, but I find the whole design of it a bit strange. Like, because obviously they know a lot of people are going to probably buy the disc drive, and then the disc drive, if you don't put it on the little legs, it's all lopsided if you lay it flat. 'Cause I don't know what the official...
the smaller, you get those small little stands, don't you? The little plastic legs. And if you've got the disc drive, you get extra legs with it, because if you don't put them in, they're not deep enough.
That's right.
Kind of thing. But from what I can see, I think pretty much everyone I've seen that's been getting a Pro or been using them have all wanted a disc drive with it. So it'd be interesting for them to find out, like Sony, if there's any way of like finding out through some sort of data how many owners of the Pro ended up just getting the disc drive with it. Because I can understand why they did it like this. It's so they don't have to make two versions of the model and have one sell and maybe one not.
Yeah.
As much. But it obviously does, like, the price adds up over time, and people were kind of frustrated, and then you've got people literally saying, it's the death of physical media and all that lot, and it's like, yes and no, I suppose. I mean, it is phasing out as you go, but they're still offering it to you as an option, and I believe it will still be an option for the PS6, especially as we're now moving into more eras of backwards compatibility.
Yeah.
Because obviously that does help.
What's the official... I don't think there is, but what is the best way to have it? Stood up or flat? Because I know a lot of you don't do TikTok, but I've seen TikTok videos where people like repair people and they're telling you to have it a certain way, and there's people in the comments saying it doesn't matter. I mean, has Sony ever said what way you're supposed to have it? I'm guessing if they're giving you them stands, then it can be designed to be put on its side.
I always have my consoles laying down anyway, because I believe a disc drive, where you put a disc in flat, is better for the drive and the disc.
Yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
Because I remember back in the day when people had in, like the original PlayStations and PS2s, and you could have them upright and stuff, and I remember loads of people's PS2s and they all went shit. Yeah. And they all had them up, like, vertical. And they're like, it stopped reading the discs. And I'm like, there you go.
Yeah.
But they're both, obviously, the Xbox One and the PS5s are generally designed, I believe, to be vertical. But I just don't have the room under my TVs in my sort of like setups for them to be vertical.
No.
I prefer stuff just flat and tucked out the way.
Yeah, I mean, I've got my PlayStation flat, but I have got my Xbox vertical. But like you say, it just makes sense when you're reading discs for it to be on its side, doesn't it, really?
I mean, the Xbox One is blatantly more designed to be vertical because one end of it is just a big stand, isn't it?
Yeah.
Technically, but I have mine laying down, and it has, like, obviously, the little rubber pegs.
I mean, one thing will go down in history is that both consoles this generation have been ugly. Probably the ugliest consoles of all time.
Yeah. I mean, I must admit, I don't mind the look of didn't mind the look of the OG PS5 and stuff. I mean, it's not fantastic, and there's been some, like, pretty cool... I actually still quite like the look of the GameCube as just a system, because it literally was just that. It was a big cube.
Yeah, I suppose so. That was just...
I think the only ugly part of that was the handle, but that was just so you could, like, I don't know, club people around the head with it. Like a weight.
They were quite handy with the handles. Yeah, I suppose that was back in the day when you used to take consoles around your friends and stuff, weren't it, I suppose? It was quite easy just to pick up and carry it around, but I think them days are gone.
Yeah, it's like changing the memory and taking your memory cards down your mates.
Yeah, but overall, Webby, I'm like I say, I've not played too much on it, but I'm impressed with it. I mean, like I say, I've only played FIFA, but I'm sure it just feels like, obviously, because my old one was second hand, it felt a bit, I don't know, just it felt second hand, especially with the controller and stuff.
And you weren't sure if it was going to cack up.
Yeah, exactly. It could, cause you don't, because obviously when you're buying second hand, you don't know how that person's treated it. You don't know how I mean, it could be virtually brand new. They might not have ever played it. That's why they've got rid of it. But then it could have been caned. You just don't know, do you? So I just feel like now I've got a nice brand new one. No one else has had it, so I'm happy. And like I say, there might not be another one now for a good 2 or 3 years. So I'm going to get a good use out of it. Now it's my sort of primary console. So yeah,
You'll
we're
get
happy.
a call from your boy over Christmas, like, you bastard, you stole me a dub.
Yeah, I did wonder. I thought to myself, what if a few months and it fucking goes? Be like, well, good job I upgraded then.
Still, I did some, buy a new one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we might as well start moving on to some of the stuff we've been playing, to be honest, because there's not really much else to talk about with the actual system itself and what most of the people online will do.
I did mention it, and I can't remember if it was Discord or WhatsApp chat. I was a little bit disappointed when, because on your friends list, and it'll show you what console they're on. Like it'll show if they're on the PS4 or the PS5. I was hoping we'd get like a little icon to say you're on a Pro, so all your peasant friends, so all your peasant friends could see you was playing on a Pro. Maybe something they might bring that in with an upgrade or something. But yeah, I was a bit, I think they should give you something on there just to show you've invested. But who knows?
Where did that go? Oh, this is it. PS5 Pro owners looking at PS4, PS5 owners. Yeah, that's you. That's you too. Yeah.
Now, to be honest, it's like even with the PS4, back in the day. I mean, I had a PS4 Pro, and obviously with Horizon and things like that, and obviously I played God of War on that. And then I took it down my mate's house, who obviously was just on the regular PS4, and obviously it didn't output in 4K or anything like that. It was just like locked to 1080. And I remember even my friend, when he was playing it on his telly and everything, I was like, it still looks really good. Like, this is not like a massive, like, incremental update. It literally is just resolution and like slight frame rate. The games aren't going to look worlds different or anything. I mean, you might see more of that as like we get a few more years into things when you've obviously got more demanding games. Obviously, everyone's still sitting there thinking like GTA is kind of going to be the canary in the coal mine for that one, isn't it?
Maybe.
How well it is, because regardless of how well it is on console, it should run the best on that system on the Pro.
Yeah.
Unless there is another platform out for it at that point, to see how it could do. You could be like, yes, it does reach. It'd be like, yeah, GTA 6 finally 60 FPS on the PS4 Pro at 720p.
Woohoo!
And ray tracing off, kind of thing. Like.
Well, this is the thing, right? People go on about ray tracing, but fucking out, like, even on a real high-end PC, it's still not amazeballs. It's very performance hampering, so I wouldn't expect, a mid-gen upgrade to move worlds in that department.
No, there was a game I played actually, which like I could play reasonably with ray tracing, and it kind of looked all right. But then I was like, no. And then I looked, and that wasn't Spider-Man. And I looked at the difference it kind of made, and it wasn't enough for me to take that performance hit.
What game was it?
As soon as I turned, this is the first Descendant. So it was like, that was probably it was the second game I tried.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, the first Descendant, it's already had its pro patch and everything, and then booted it up. I always had it imbalanced because obviously I find graphical, obviously you take too much of a performance hit, and in performance mode it doesn't look great at all. And obviously one of the best things about that game is like the Unreal Engine 5 like character models and stuff like that. And if you're kind of making them look like clay models, it kind of doesn't look good. So I always had it on balanced, and it looked nice when you were in Albion, which is like your main player hub. That always looked nice because it's a small area. It doesn't have to render as much. You haven't got AI enemies flapping about.
Yeah.
But when you go out into the field, you'd sort of get to a wall and move the camera around so it gets a bit closer to your character, and you'll literally notice that they don't really look hardly anything like the character model, because the detail's just kind of taken out where it's like simpler. So anyway, played it on the Pro, kept it unbalanced, went straight out into the main part, and I was like, oh, that looks a hell of a lot better. So like, it's almost like the detail I was getting on the character models in Albion is now how everything looks in the game, like regardless of me being in Albion or out in the field.
Okay, that's good. Plus,
the game is doing over 60 FPS to the point where the movements are kind of like too fluid and weird for my eyes to get used to. If that makes any sense.
Oh dear.
Where you kind of like, oh, this is what it's like to go over 60 or whatever it is, where the character moves like super fluid and it's almost like a bit realistic-y and weird.
Yeah.
And it takes you a while to get used to it, and that's like teleporting in, even in like the big 4-player multiplayer bits where I'm doing like the 400% difficulty missions where things get proper hectic, when you're obviously got like Freyner doing all the acid shit blowing off everywhere and that. Yes, there's frame hiccups here and there, but there would be because there's so much shit going on. You've got like tens, if not hundreds of enemies like spawning in constantly, getting damaged and numbers popping out of them and that. But even during that, the character is still, when the aiming and everything's super fluid. And I was like absolutely like proper happy with that. So that was like the second game I played where I was just literally like, no, this is the shit. This is what I wanted it for. Things like this. The first game I did try was a PS4 game.
Oh yeah, what was that?
Which was Samurai Warriors 5, which is a fantastic game, but it's cell shaded and it's kind of stuck at 1080, and it looks slightly pixely. Because of the cell shading and it only being 1080, whereas if you've gone and played a cell shaded game in 4K, something like Scarlet Nexus, you know how good 2D character models can look. Like when the resolution's bumped and you haven't got those jaggies on the outlines and stuff.
Yeah.
And using the PS4's boost mode thing to it kind of looked like it was doing a little bit, but like maybe a 10% increase in the image quality. But it still doesn't look fantastic.
Okay.
Like the graphics are still great and everything, but they're just not as detailed as you kind of want them to be for a 2D cel-shaded game. Okay. Or for it to have that 2D cel-shaded overlook.
Yeah. Nice.
So yeah, that'll do for me for now.
What about you, Peebs? What's your highlight game on the PlayStation 5 Pro? And don't say FC25.
Well, that's all I've played, to be honest. I was playing it on the other PlayStation, was Crysis Remastered. Obviously, that's a PlayStation 4 game, I believe. I don't know whether that's been upgraded or anything, but I haven't really noticed much of a difference on that.
Crysis Remastered, you can finally play it how people played it on the PC about 2 decades ago when it was like a benchmark.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? Can it run Crysis?
Yeah, I remember that very well.
Yeah.
But I'm just on my PlayStation going through the Pro games, all the enhanced games, looking at them now and seeing which ones I haven't played. But because I haven't played Spider-Man 2 or Ragnarok, so there's a few there for me to...
Spider-Man
2. Demon Souls, I've started that, never finished it.
Demon Souls, I played that today on the new Pro mode with the enhancements, and that game looked good anyway in performance. Yeah. Like when I played it, oh boy, does it look fucking beautiful now.
Really?
With there's just more detail and everything. It popped. It looks beautiful. Like I am still, to this day, shocked that hasn't had a PC port.
Oh no, it's
almost like if it's a FromSoft game, you're not going on the PC, mate. We're going to keep that one.
Yeah.
You can have all the others, but you're not having Demon Souls or Bloodborne. even though both of these games would sell like hotcakes on the PC.
Yeah, I know. That's mad.
And Demon's Souls was a launch title as well. That was another thing where I was just literally like, this game's graphics looks so good, like, and the detail and the characters and the lighting and everything like that, and it was a launch game.
Yeah, crazy.
It's still crazy to me.
And I've just this minute started downloading the First Descendant, or whatever it's called. I've never tried it. So
it's very grindy and stuff.
Is it?
Yeah, and it's one of those games where like I love half of it and I hate half of it. It's like half of it's really good and enjoyable, and another part of it can be frustrating if you're trying to grind for items or characters. You end up doing the same shit over and over and over again, and then you're relying on RNG to get the drops you want.
But if you like playing as women half naked, then you'll be well away, mate. So
I don't think that was allowed anymore.
Oh no, this game kind of bucks the trend because it's a Korean developer. It's weird. It's like Japanese developers are kind of under the cosh and have got the stern eagle eyes on them. Korean developers at the moment are just skipping around unchecked.
Yeah.
And they're laughing all the way to the bank for it.
Oh yeah, there's that. Also, obviously I played Dead Rising, the remastered, obviously before I changed over to the Pro. Completed that, but apparently that's had a upgrade as well. As I think Sly was talking about it in the Discord.
I was actually sort of thinking of all the games that were going to get a lot of Pro patch, that's kind of a bit of a strange choice.
Yeah.
Because it's like, what are you going to do, up the frame rate or something, I guess, maybe?
Yeah. Silent Hill 2 as well. I mean, that did look really good. I was really impressed with that.
I haven't tried that yet. I've heard that the game kind of maintains a much more stable frame rate and performance now, whereas there were dips before, but there is a patch coming Pro Enhanced, and it's rumoured for like this week or next week.
Cool.
So that's one I'm really looking forward to seeing. But then that's going to be almost, I guarantee you that might be one Digital Foundry look at, because that game has issues even on the PC when it comes to like frame pacing and things like that. There have been issues that have cropped up. So that is kind of going to be quite a technological game to try and sort out to see how it goes.
But if we talk about games played, obviously, FIFA, I keep calling it bloody FIFA. EAFC, whatever it's bloody called. Obviously, it's just the FIFA and all but name. I did read somewhere that FIFA are actually going to bring out their own football game, so that'll be interesting. I don't know how far
it's probably
down the pipeline that is. Yeah, but this is just more of the same. Although one annoying thing is, when you do your Ultimate Team and name your team, I've always been, obviously, Peebs. I've always been Peebs something or other, Peebs Albion, Peebs Casuals. But this time it won't let me put Peebs in. It keeps coming. You're using an offensive name.
What?
Yeah. I think it's because it's got the double, because it's PEE. I think it thinks I'm trying to spell P, piss or P or something.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
What's that? That's a really bad word for 5-year-old children or something. Like.
So I've got to be called Peebs now, so it's one E, Peebs. That's the only way I can get it.
Pitbull Peebs.
Yeah. My old manager was called Peebs. He was a twat.
Cheers.
Well, I suppose it's an upgrade from Pitbull Pubes. But there we go. I still remember that party chat. What was a game chat? Was there some kid calling you as a fucking insult?
Someone called me it or something, didn't they? Yeah.
A little 5-year-old kid. Like,
and then, and obviously I did play Shadows of the Damned Remastered, but that didn't look remastered to me. It didn't really look much different in it.
Yeah, I did see a Digital Foundry video came out for that today, and they kind of, it looked like they were like, this is like, might be one of the worst like remastered games ever.
Well,
Like they didn't do much to it.
Well, I actually think it's great because I've been playing it as well. I haven't finished it yet, but the reason I say it's great is because I've been playing it on the 100% on the Steam Deck. So for that small screen, it looks really nice, and it, and obviously because it's an old engine, it's basically an Xbox 360 game. It runs great on the little handheld. So these older type games, I love it when they bring them back out and just do like a small kind of remaster because it's great for the handheld, So I like it, and it was priced right as well at £20, I think.
Yeah,
definitely. That's what made me pull the trigger on it. Because obviously back in the day, old community members who listened to when we was back playing 360 games, I think we all enjoyed this game when it first came out. It was one of the
very much so.
This is when it, like the old classic, just a single player game. It's just a campaign. That's it. Nothing else. Just single player campaign.
8 hours.
Campaign. Yeah, 8 hours. Yeah, you could do obviously new game plus if you desire, but it's just the old school. Just play through and put it down and probably never play it again. But it definitely. That £20 perked me interest. And I thought, it's going to be remastered. I played it for, I don't know how old it is. It's about 13 years old, isn't it?
Someone said
12, 13
maybe
years
more.
old.
I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah. So definitely, I always remember being one of my favourite games, but actually when I put it on, there was a lot I forgot about it.
Yeah.
But it was still enjoyable. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's been remastered a whole lot. It still I still felt it plays like a 360 game as well. It was a bit clunky here and there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the aiming's fucking hard, isn't it? It's like really hard to get.
Yeah, the aiming's all. Yeah, because there's like a trophy for getting 5 headshots in a row, and I'm thinking, fucking hell, I can't get more than 2. It's a bloody nightmare. But it's just still enjoyable. It's good old fun. Back before all the political correctness. I mean, I've seen it's been getting slated a bit, hasn't it? Because of its content with his girlfriend walking around in lingerie and her tits out and stuff like that, and there's sections in it when you walk across.
Basically taunting him though.
Yeah, that's pretty much. Yeah, yeah. It's just got really good sense of humour to it, and that's what I really
dick
like
jokes
about
and
it.
stuff.
Yeah, it's just funny.
Big boner.
Yeah, and it's just crazy. It's just really wacky, crazy story, and fucked up enemies and bosses that are just out there.
Rum and base, like fucking, was it anglerfish and like slug things that you like chilling and
It's a good little game, man. It really is.
Yeah. And I think they could learn a thing or two by price. I mean, again, I don't know how well it's sold. But, if that had been a 40, 50 quid game, I probably wouldn't have touched it.
Yeah.
But 20 quid, you think 20 quid's nothing really, play it. Happy days, but I think it could learn a thing or two and price some of these like remastered or older games and even shorter games at this sort of price. But
as I say, the 360 era and PS3 was kind of the golden age of video games for us, I think.
Oh yeah, there was so many experimental titles that came out. Around that time.
Yeah, and it was just a single player campaign, no bells or whistles, no added packs, no DLC, no this, no that. It's just a good old fashioned single player campaign, 8-9 hours, bang, done.
Yep.
Which you don't seem to get these days. Everything's sort of tacked on. It's got to have multiplayer on it. It's got to have this on it. It's got to have that on it. It's got
to be a 60-hour bloody sprawling open world and of dailies and all that bollocks. Like. Oh,
how do we get our players to give us more money after they've already bought the game?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's a good game, man. Cool. All right. I've played. Well, you've actually taken. That was one of the games on my list, funnily enough. So.
What was that? Oh, Chillers of the Damned.
I bought. I need to slap my hand. I bought another game this week.
Dragon Age.
Oh, fuck off. There is no fucking way I wouldn't. No one could even pay me to play that woke garbage. D-Twin, if you're listening, I'm ashamed of you.
You're enjoying it. Fair play on you.
No, he knows I'm messing, kind of. So no, so I did buy a few games I've not played yet. Alpha Protocol and Vanquish, a couple of other 360 kind of titles that I've bought for Steam. But I finished a demo this week, and then the next day I purchased the game. And even though I said I was going to wait, I can't wait.
Oh, I know what it is. Yeah.
Yes, Metaphor Refantazio. Not a game for Peebs because he doesn't like Japanese stuff. But I really I don't remember a demo selling me a game for many years. Many years. I mean, you go back to like the PS1, PS2 era, you used to get your demo discs. And then you'd be like, oh yeah, you play like 20 minutes of a game and it's fucking awesome or whatever. This had a demo that you could play up to a certain section of the game. It took me 6 hours to get through the demo, which is insane. That's like longer than many cool Call of Duty games. You know what I mean? No, I really got into this demo and I finished it and I thought, well, I'm going to save it because I played it on Steam, mainly on my Steam Deck, a little bit on my PC, but mainly on the Steam Deck. And I was going to save it for me flight to Australia, but the game's like 80 hours long, so I thought, fuck it, I'll just buy it now and play it a little bit now, and put about 7 or 8 more hours into the main game now as well. So I've put quite a few hours into it. It's great. If you like the Persona games, which I know some of the listeners do, this is... You will love this game because it has all that Persona type stuff. So it has the days that tick by, and then on the days you can, there's only certain things you can kind of... You need to choose what to do, like who to spend time with to get those...
I was hoping it wasn't going to have that because that is the worst part of Persona for me.
It does have that. Yeah.
Oh, balls.
But it's done really well, to be fair. But you need to make sure you do the main mission before the days run out or it's game over, yeah? Very exactly like Persona. But I'm enjoying it because the thing I enjoy about the Persona games is, you spend time building the relationships with the other characters in your party. They have their own side quests. And some of them that I've done already have been really interesting as well. You get a lot of more backstory of them, and that makes them more interesting. It's weird though, like I'm loving the game, but it has a few woke tendencies, which is a little bit weird. So, like in a Persona game, you got to like build your knowledge, and your so you build your intelligence, your like kind of courage and stuff like that. Yeah. This has all that, but it has another one called tolerance, right? And the way you build your tolerance is you got to learn about all these hundreds of different cultures and religions of all the people that are living in harmony in this city. A bit like London with all the mishmash of different races and religions and stuff. So you got to learn about all these other things to build your tolerance. And I'm like, why is this in a game? Because I can understand courage and and stuff like that, right? But tolerance, what? It doesn't make sense to me at the minute. I don't know why. But apart from that, it's it's very interesting. It's got like the actual story itself is a little bit political. So the main story is like the king has died, and they're looking for a successor to the king. But the story goes a bit twisted. I'm not going to spoil it. A bit fucking Game of Thronesy, to be honest. But then it delves into like in this city, you've got different classes of people and where they live and refugees, and it's all very like, what the fuck is going on here? But what they've done with the combat, Darren, is quite interesting. So, like in a Persona game, you go into a dungeon type area, and then it's all turn-based. You get into you run into an enemy, and then it goes into that kind of turn-based combat. In this, it has that, but if there's weaker enemies, like, you can just hit them. So you press the X button on the Xbox controller, as an example, and you'll do like a melee hit as you're running around. So the weaker enemies, like the dogs or wolves or whatever, they'll just die in one hit, so you don't waste your time going into a full-on battle with them. But you still, like, when you hit them and kill them with the sword, your party still gains that XP, right? So it speeds it up a little bit in that regard. If they're harder enemies, you hit them, you'll go into a battle where you do less damage, and then you got to press another button, like the Y button, to go into your squad battle. But then you go into the battle with that enemy has damage to it. So that's quite cool. But what I'm really liking about it compared to Persona game, because the Persona games are all about, high school students and shit happening in the real world. This is a complete flip on that, where it's all set in this magical world full of like fairies and unicorns and, dwarves and, all your elves and, all that kind of standard fantasy fare in that fantasy world. But he has a book about their version of a fantasy world, and it's our world. So I'm not super far into it, but I have a feeling that that's going to maybe come into part of the story later on. So I'm quite intrigued as to what's going to happen. But no, I think, I'm really enjoying it. I think it's a fantastic game. It wasn't even on my radar, because when they initially showed it, I thought, oh, it's a Persona clone, I'll just stick to me Persona games. But this demo sold it on me. So it does. So in my mind, it does show that demos still have value, even in this day and age of YouTube, etc. So yeah, I'll talk about it a bit more in the next up and coming weeks. If I've played it more, I'm going to kind of put it on my back burner a little bit now, because I'm going to try and save it for when I go on holiday. So you might not actually hear me talk about it properly till January now, but yeah, it's a great game, and I think you'd like it, Darren. Yes, Peebs.
What I'm saying is, I'm looking at it in the Twitch channel, mate, and it looks rubbish.
It's, as I say, it's not
my game at all.
It's not a Peebs game. I know you don't really like your JRPGs anyway, so that's fine. I get
the
it.
graphics and everything look nice and stuff, but I don't know, it just looks a bit long-winded, complicated, weird.
Well, it's like a 70, 80 hour game, mate. There's a lot of talking, lots of battles, long boss fights. If you're not into that, then no, I didn't think you would be. But no, that's me. Back to Peebs.
Well, what I said, obviously, we've talked about the football, the Shadows of the Damned, Dead Rising, Crisis, Silent Hill. I know you've probably been talking about it quite a bit over the last few weeks, haven't you? But yeah, I don't know if I ever played it back in the day.
No?
I don't remember. I can't remember. What console would it have been on?
PS2.
Oh, I might have done then.
And it was on the original Xbox as well.
Yeah, but I don't really remember a lot of it, but it is a great game. I did have to use a guide here and there. I know some people deny they use guides, which is a touchy subject in the community, but I don't mind admitting I've used guides for a lot of this stuff, because I'm just getting old and forgetful, and I just can't be. I mean, I try to go as long as I can without using one, and then sometimes in Silent Hill I was just like, I've got 3 hours spare to play the game, and then 3 hours later I'm still in the same section because I'm just walking around getting lost.
Yeah.
I don't really know what I'm trying to do. Some of the puzzles in that game are, I mean, you can set the difficulty for the puzzles, can't you? Schoolboy error, because I put the difficulty to easy for the combat, but didn't change the puzzles to easy. I kept the puzzles on medium, I think.
See, I put the puzzles on easy and still got stuck, so...
Really?
Yeah.
I've all the puzzles myself, which is...
Really?
I've really enjoyed the puzzles in the game as well.
I'm too
Some
impatient,
really clever.
mate. I'm too impatient.
Yeah, I must admit I'm impatient as well. I just end up giving up and trying to But they do the thing of, because even when you look on the guides, I think they do the thing where they can jumble the randomise the puzzles, can't they? So if you look for a guide, it all depends. Sometimes the person playing it on the guide is different to what you've got.
Yeah.
Because it randomises some of the puzzles.
Yeah.
But I think it's light spoilers, but I think the hardest one was with the hangman's ropes towards the end of the game. What was that when you had to...
Sort of, it's a moral thing, isn't it?
Yeah. That took me a while, but overall, it looks great. It'd be interesting to see, like I said earlier, what it'd be like on the Pro Enhanced, but it looked beautiful anyway. And it is probably one of the creepiest, scariest games I've played in a long time.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not really just jumpy either. It's just really eerie and just
it
creepy, and it's just really well done. Especially when all the areas were. The prison was quite creepy, but there's other areas as well that are really, really well done. It is, a really well done game. A must for anyone on the PlayStation. I think a lot of people in the community have played it and completed it.
It's not on Xbox yet.
Oh, well. Or on PC when it comes to Xbox in a year or two.
Yeah, so what is it, a year? Is it a year before it's on Xbox?
It's a year, yeah. Which is probably around the same amount of time it probably took for it to go from PS2 to other systems, to be honest.
Well, what I don't understand, right, is why they didn't remake the first game first and then...
Yeah.
I think it's because, 2's more beloved, isn't it? That's probably why.
See, I have more memories of 1 for some reason. I don't know why. I just do.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the one I think... When I played on the 360, I got stuck on there's a nurse that's the boss. I can't remember which one that is.
It's either Downpour or Homecoming, I think they
Oh, yeah, it's one of them too. Yeah, it's one of them.
What about the room? Was there one called The Room? The something of The Room? I remember something. No? Sorry, go on.
This is sold quite well, hasn't it, I believe? So hopefully they might remaster some of the others and bring them out. But like you say, it would have made sense to try and do them in some sort of order.
Yeah. It's one of those horror games as well where they actually made a decent movie out of. That first Silent Hill movie was really good, I thought.
Yeah, I can't remember the film. I remember it coming out, but I've seen it, but I can't remember it. I'd have to watch it. I can't remember what I did first thing this morning, so my memory's getting terrible.
That's because you get up too early in the fucking morning, mate.
Yeah. But, great game. I think it took, there's a trophy for doing it under 10 hours. But it's strange how, because on the PlayStation, obviously, when you come out of it, one of the things I do like, it tells you your game time. Now, I know I had this conversation with you, Webby, a while back, because obviously the Xbox does do it as well, but it's buried within all the menus and stuff.
It's in your achievement section, yeah.
Yeah, that's it, in your achievement section. But on the dash on your PlayStation, when you hover over that game, it tells you how percentage completion of the game and your time spent playing.
Yeah.
Mine for Silent Hill on that dashboard is saying 22 hours, but actually in-game was something like 14, 15 hours. So they're obviously, I don't know how the timers work on that.
Well, perhaps when you
paused
it or something.
When you pause it in-game, it stops the clock in-game, but the actual PlayStation clock is still thinking you're on the game. I don't know, it must be something like that. You know when you hover over a game on your PlayStation main dash and you hover over a game on the icon
and stuff, you mean?
And it's got your time played, hasn't it? Well, that was different to my game on Silent Hill 2. It was different to my in-game time. So it must time, obviously when you pause the game in-game, like if you go for a piss or go answer the door or whatever, that probably stops the clock on the in-game, but not on the actual... but not on the actual main console type thing that times it, because they don't, otherwise it'd match. But small little things, but small things that annoy me. But yeah, great game. Like I say, hopefully they'll bring some more out.
Yeah. Awesome.
Fingers crossed they'll do either 1 or 3 next.
It's just weird though. Look, what we talked about Dead Rising remastered, Shadows of the Damned remastered, Silent Hill remastered. I mean, there's a pattern here.
Remake, yeah.
Yeah, remastered, remake, whatever. But yeah,
That's because they can't. Well, there is some good original games that still come out, but I don't know what it is. They just seem to. It's like the movie industry; they're running out of ideas.
yeah, everything's remakes or prequels and sequels, and yeah.
Or they cost
Yeah,
too
they
much
are.
to make, but they kind of want
It's just
a good thing.
I think people are just running out of original ideas. Same with music. All music is rehashed. Films are starting to be rehashed. Games are starting to be rehashed.
It's now the societal decline of the West. That's what it is. It's the first sign of societal decline. That's it. Oh dear.
Yeah.
There's me going into my downer again. Darren, played anything else on your PS5 Pro?
Yes, we can sort of like do 2 birds with 1 stone with this one. So I tried Death Stranding on the Pro to see if it actually did anything different, and obviously the game was originally like pretty much 4K 60 anyway during the like graphical mode for the game, and the Pro basically means there's like no drops on it whatsoever.
Nice.
And it's still an absolutely beautiful game, and 5 years after it came out, because it was the 5th year anniversary today, or last week for the game, it shadow dropped on Xbox.
Which I find very strange, because I'm pretty sure it's a Sony studio game, no?
No, I think it's an actual Kojima game, but Sony had obviously certain things for it, because it was obviously they partly funded it.
Right. Okay. I think it's pretty cool that it's come to Xbox. More people can enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like 5 years later, so it doesn't really particularly matter. And for the game that it is, there's a lot of like connection-y stuff in it.
Yeah.
Like social connection stuff, and like we build ladders and stuff that other people can then use.
Yeah.
And whatnot. So
I got bored of it after a few hours, mate. I'm not going to lie.
It's still a pretty interesting and unique game, and like I can't begrudge Kojima for trying to make a different type of game.
No.
Outside of the usual type of fare, which I've played some other games of the usual type of fare this week, and I haven't particularly enjoyed myself.
Oh dear.
So yeah, there's that. I've also tried out Horizon Forbidden West.
Yeah.
And that game looks absolutely beautiful on the Pro, because it basically runs how the graphic mode used to be. But you're running it in frame rate mode, so it looks fantastic because they've used the PSSR or whatever it is to fully upgrade the visuals in the game.
Nice. See,
It beefed them up somewhat.
See, I think like this is what I'm hearing about the PS5 Pro, and it's not a downer at all. It's just upraising older games to look better, and I'm like, and in my mind, I'm like, I've played all these games. Why would I want to play them again? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's just
totally
why. Yeah, I want to play something new, and I really do think. Well, I hope that as more games come out, they've got these enhancements that'll be the kind of the definitive console way of playing these newer games that come out. I think, like we already mentioned, like Grand Theft Auto 6 as a prime example. Even in Indiana Jones, when it comes to PS5, it'll probably be better looking on the Pro than the Xbox, you know what I mean? So
that's a bit of a downer, because I'm like, do I wait?
Yeah, this is
Like, do I wait on
now.
Yeah.
Because I'm a massive Indiana Jones fan, so I'm waiting for this game. But I'm like I said, my PlayStation is my main console now. But I'm paying for Game Pass, so what do? I might as well play it on Xbox, and you get my Game Pass subscriptions and get some value out of it.
It'd be silly not to,
Or
mate. Or pay 70
exactly.
quid for it on the PlayStation, you know?
Yeah, but like you say, I think it probably better on the PlayStation. So, but is it worth 70 quid more just to play it on there? I don't know. I'm gonna have to look at maybe cancelling my Xbox subscription, but then I still, like I play my Call of Duty on there.
You'll have to play it on the. Well, all you really play is Warzone. You just play that on the PlayStation with Colin, and you miss out on the zombies fun times with us.
Well, no, I've been playing. I don't know if you talk about Call of Duty now, but obviously I've been playing. I haven't played it this week or such, but I think there's a new season. The new Warzone maps drop this week, don't they? In the new season, I think is it the 14th? I might be wrong. Don't quote me. I think it's sometime this week they drop the new map. They're bringing a new map out.
Because they already brought out Nuketown, didn't they, last week?
Yeah, that's for the multiplayer. And then apparently I think they bring some sort of new zombie thing out as well.
Nice. And they're changing
research, really.
Changing the Warzone map as well, aren't they?
Yeah, I think there's a new map change and some enhancements and stuff and new seasons. But yeah, I've been playing the multiplayer. I've obviously played with you. We had a good game of night the other week. I know you mentioned it, but we need to sort out another one of them because that was a good laugh.
It was a bloody good laugh, yeah.
But yeah, I've been enjoying the multiplayer and the zombies. The zombies is quite difficult. I got up to round 22 the other day with some randoms, but didn't extract, so it's quite hard to extract. But and also the single player, I've done a few missions. I need to go back and do some more of that.
Well, the campaign's good, mate.
So I can delete that off. Yeah, I've enjoyed so much of what I've played of it so far, but I want to get it done so I can delete it off, free some more space up. But yeah, overall the whole package. I mean, and obviously it's on Game Pass, so I ain't paid for it. Well, you paid your subscription, but you're not forking out 70 quid.
It's the best COD that I've played in years. It really is. I just think the whole package is great. Great campaign. The multiplayer itself it feels fresh because all the maps are brand new. Obviously, apart from Nuketown, they've just put out. The movement is slightly changed, and that feels nice. The zombies is good because it's old school zombies. It just feels really, really cool. I'm loving it.
Yeah, I'm really liking it. How long for? I don't know. Before I normally drop off the multiplayer. I mean, I always do the campaigns. Once they're done, they're done. Do multiplayer for a few months, but then normally drop off the multiplayer and just concentrate solely on Warzone. But we'll see if we can keep some gamer nights going every so often. That'll keep us invested, hopefully.
Nice. Cool to the beans. Anything else, Darren?
Yeah, 2 seconds. I'm just playing something fucking annoying at the moment, so I don't particularly want to.
Gaming whilst you... Okay, well, let me talk about something then.
And there's me. I'm completely invested.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got dailies to do, so I was just like fucking trying to get some of them done.
Okay, so I who was it that got me into this? Just give me 2 seconds. There was someone on the WhatsApp, Leonardo, Leonardo, got me into this thing, this YouTube channel called David Earl Plays. Have you heard of David Earl? He was in a few of the Ricky Gervais TV shows.
No.
Rings a bell.
Anyway, so he has this YouTube channel, and one of the kind of series he's did is on Grand Theft Auto 5 roleplay. So basically, So basically, there's these roleplay servers on PC for Grand Theft Auto, where you have a job or you join a gang and it's all a voice chat and all that. And he's got this kind of mini series, 27 episodes, and it is fucking hilarious. Like the stuff that he gets up to with his little gang of mates and the betrayals and stuff. Oh my God. So funny. I've blasted through them all, and yeah, it was great. It was more entertaining than EastEnders, I tell you. So anyway, I thought to myself, I fancy getting in on some of this. So I downloaded Grand Theft Auto 5 again, PC, and then I downloaded this 5M program, which is what you use to find the role-playing servers. Played it a little bit, not loads, and I don't know, my experience at the minute is not the best. Basically, I went into the server and it told me what to do. I had to go and give you a little bit of money to buy a car. And then you have to go get a job. And my job at the minute is a bus driver. So I'm driving a bus around the city, picking up passengers and stuff. And yeah, so there's that. But then like, it is so random. So like before we came on the podcast, I went on it, and then I wanted to get me hair cut because for some reason when I spawned in the game, I had green hair, and I was like, I don't want green hair. I want to go and get me hair cut. So I'm like, right, I'll get in my car, and I'm driving to the hairdressers, just minding my business, and all of a sudden this car comes out of nowhere, and these guys ran me off the road. And they dragged me out of the car, and they're like, in voice, like, give me your money. And I'm like, so my character in the game's called Gerald Webbington, right? So I'm talking really posh, saying, oh, hello, chaps. I'm brand new to this city. I don't have much money, and I'm a bus driver. And they're like, give me your money. And I'm like, I don't have any money. So they were standing there, and they're just laughing at me because I'm wearing this, like, silly top hat, but I've got green hair. You can see the green hair underneath. And I'm wearing this like ill-fitting shirt and suit jacket and trousers and that. And then they just stabbed me to death. And I'm like laying there. So basically the way that it works in these RP servers is it like you can't just respawn again. So basically it calls the ambulance, right? And it's actually real players that have to come and get you and bring you back to the hospital. But I was laying there for 10 minutes and no one came and no one from the hospital came and got me, so I turned it off. But on this like David Earl thing that I've seen, like it's been quite comical because the people from the ambulance crew pick him up and take him to the hospital and they have real funny conversations and stuff like that going. So I was hoping for something like that, but it didn't happen. But this server I'm on, it's like a British one, and they've changed it like, so it's not American. It's set in like this other version of London, and they've changed all the flags to Union Jacks, and it's like English buses and stuff like that. So it's quite funny actually. But I think a lot of this role play thing is like who you meet and who you can get kind of stuff going with in there. Because so far it's been just a little bit weird, but it's interesting because this RP thing's been going for a good few years apparently, and I've only just found out about it. And there's also Red Dead 2 RP as well, which
there was a famous incident, I think, on YouTube of some woman basically RPing, like sexual RPing in the game, and basically she was cheating on her husband with this other bloke who's a complete freak.
Oh man,
like IRL and that.
Oh fucking hell!
So that was when I first heard about like these GTA RP things. I was like, all right, weird.
Yeah, but I think so. So I looked online at what the popular servers are, but the real popular servers that these websites are mentioning, you got to like fill in a fucking application form and all sorts to get let into the server. And I'm like, I can't be fucked going for all that bollocks. I just want to jump in and crack on. But yeah, I just thought it was just quite interesting just to check out, because I've been watching these videos. I'll probably try it again this week because I'm going to have a bit more time now, and see if I can get some funny stuff going with Gerald. So I will let you know. I will update you next week on Gerald's adventures, and if it gets good, I will live stream or
will you end up
it.
coming out of the hospital with like medical bills and stuff you got to pay off and that.
Oh, probably. Yeah. So, but no, yeah. Go on, mate.
Yeah. Sorry, carry on. I'll let you finish.
No, I was just going to say it's been quite. I was going to say it's been quite entertaining just watching these videos and just checking out for myself.
Yeah, so obviously Horizon Forbidden West, I tried that one on the Pro, obviously as the Pro mode, like I said about, looks absolutely crisp and gorgeous. It was a beautiful game initially anyway. But I did used to play it on performance back in the day just to get a more stable frame rate. Dragon's Dogma 2, I've also tried the Pro patch on that.
Right.
It kind of seems to have fixed the frame rate and given the game a pretty decent resolution. Unfortunately, the game's still a bit shit.
I don't know what they did with this game, because the first Dragon's Dogma was so good, and they just seemed to have screwed the pooch with the sequel.
I think got into it and everything, or loaded it all up, and I was like, yes, back in there, boys. Maybe I'll give this another go. And within 15 minutes, I was like cursing the house down and wanted to just delete the whole thing off my hard drive again.
Yeah,
because it's just like, it's just so boring. Like every like 10 foot is another group of monsters.
Yeah,
you got these long, arduous journeys that you've got to go through, and it's just like monster group after monster group after monster group. And then your pawn will fall off the side of a cliff like a fucking idiot, and then they're dead, and it's like, oh, right, I best reload to my last save. Oh, no, I can't do that because the game auto-saves every fucking thing that happens. Yeah. You can't even go back to get yourself out of stupid bullshit that's happened that shouldn't, like, that's fucked you that shouldn't have. And it's just like, oh, for crying out loud. And then I think I got into some other town and I was speaking to someone, and then something happened to them, and I just wanted to scream and spike my controller into the floor. Like, it is such a shite game compared to the new, like the old one.
Yeah.
Like, I really don't know what they've done with it. And like, my mate even said to me, he's like, oh, what class are you running as? And I was like, Archer. And I was basically saying to him, it's an amazing class, because what happens is you basically sit back from range, and when you get a big monster turn up, you just have to shoot it from range while your partners do stuff. But I said the best thing about it is when the monster decides to attack you, there's nothing you can fucking do to avoid getting hit. Literally nothing. Like, there's no way out of it. If a monster charges you, you cannot fucking roll or jump or do anything to get out of the way. You just get battered. And because at the moment, obviously, I imagine I've got to unlock a second vocation, I've literally just got a bow. So even if some enemies are running up and giving me some stab wood and that, I can't physically attack them unless I kick them. That's all I can do, is I can just kick them like, Whereas in the other game, I had 2 daggers and a bow. Yeah. So it was like versatile. You could jump onto things, stab them up and everything. But in this, you're kind of like hemmed in. And even when I was watching like videos of people talking about the Pro patch, they kind of went, this game fell off a fucking cliff. Like, everyone was talking about it for a little while and then nothing. And I was like, yeah, because it's a shit imitation of the original game, which was fantastic. And it's literally the epitome of bigger isn't always better. You didn't need to make the landscape bigger. You didn't need to make the quest arduous and annoying. Some people love it, and that's fair play. But like in comparison to the original one, which I absolutely adore, it's one of my favourite games ever. This is just piss poor. It's probably easily like my most disappointing game of the year, and I was looking forward to it for like forever. And there's still no hide helmet option in the game, which is just bizarre considering we've had multiple patches. And it's like, hang on, there's, you still can't hide your helmet, so you're walking around with your shitty medieval noddy hat on, looking like a fucking idiot. And you can't take it off and like look reasonably good. It's just bizarre. Well, you can take it off, but obviously you'll take a hit to your defence. So you probably just get one-shotted by any big creature that decides to attack you if you're an archer. I imagine it's probably one of those ones where it's like, oh, if you sit around and grind walls for 16 hours and get overpowered, you might, and it's just like, no, that's not interesting.
That's not
it
fun.
really isn't interesting, no. And then you've got other pawns that will be on a mission or something, and they're like, follow me, Arisen, and they storm off ahead. And then you kind of run in to chase them up, and then you turn around and like your other two companions are like miles behind because they've got caught on the environment or something, and you're just like, oh my god, please let it end. Oh, here's an idea, I'll just turn it off.
Have you played anything else?
Yep, I also tried Stellar Blade.
I thought you'd given up on that game a while ago.
I had. I literally just stuck it back on with the Pro Patch update to see how much better it looks. I got some extra new outfits actually when I logged in.
You
which was
naughty
kind of
man.
Nice. I'm guessing it's just because of like some of the things that they had running and the fact that they've added a few extra bits to it, like they had a summer event and some other things, so it might be from those. Possibly, but again, this seems to run and look pretty damn good now because it's using the PSSR or whatever it is, super upscaling thing.
This is one game I really want. I've just been waiting to see if they announce a PC release.
It is coming to PC.
It is. Oh, thank fuck.
They have announced that it is coming to PC. So yeah, they'll probably bring it to PC. They'll have loads of nude mods, and then the devs will be like, "Oh, why is this happening?" And you're like, "All right, did you not realise?"
Well, this is one of the reasons why I like PC gaming mods. Yeah. Why do you think I replayed Final Fantasy VII Remake on PC, mate? Tifa mods.
All right.
Because I'm a dirty old perv.
Like the Italian court or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Well, that was played. So it looks and seemed pretty good. I just literally stuck it on and I was at like some shitty platform point in the game, so I just turned it off again because I was just like, I really don't feel like being in a bad mood. And I think it might have been the same day I put on Dragon's Dogma 2, and I thought if I probably try this, I'll end up like being covered in snapped discs. I also saw today that they've given a release date of November the 20th for the Stellar Blade Nier crossover DLC.
Yeah, I saw some quite good images of that today, actually.
The outfits and stuff are actually pretty cool. You've got like a few different 2B outfits, haven't you? You've got an A2 outfit as well.
Yeah.
Which I wasn't expecting. And obviously the whole trailer thing sort of kicked off with a little sort of Yoko Taro kind of tribute thing.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Space Marine 2, I have also played.
Nice.
That game is kind of apparently a bit of a shit show on the PS compared to Xbox.
Oh.
And strangely enough, Peebs, have you got PlayStation Plus Premium?
Yes.
Stellar Blade is on that.
Is it?
Is it?
Mm-hmm. It says here when I was looking online.
Oh, I've got PlayStation Premium.
Yeah, I just literally looked on to see if the DLC is up yet, and I've just looked on here, PS5 Stellar Blade Premium Plus Premium.
What?
Little tag under it.
I'm going to be downloading that as soon as we're off the podcast. I had no idea.
Will I like it, Webby? Will I like it?
If you like boobs, you'll love it.
Did you like sort of Bayonetta and things like that? Because it's very much like a sort of hack and slash kind of type of game.
Yeah, I like hack and slash games.
I mean, it's some people love it. I have issues with the combat and the platforming and a few of the other parts of it.
Are you sure it's on PS Plus? I can't see anything about it online, so...
Yeah, no, I'm looking on... If you go on to, obviously on the PS5, if you go in the store and put in Stellar Blade, it's coming up as PS5 Premium or PS Plus Premium. Whether or not it's actually available to Premium yet, I don't know. Or it might just have that tag, a bit like the way some games have got the PS5 Pro tag.
Yes, I don't see it. I'm looking on my app now as well.
I'm going to have a look on my PlayStation. I've got the Store.
But yeah, going to Space Marine 2, yeah, it seems to run a really good resolution and frame rate on the Xbox. PS5 it doesn't yet. It kind of is patchy. Even in performance mode, I think it has struggles to hit 60 every now and again because it's poorly optimized for the system. So I think a lot of people are hoping there's actually a dedicated PS5 Pro mode or something coming to it because they're going to be adding content to the game as it goes on. I believe my friend told me that there's another co-op campaign mission coming before the end of the year.
Right.
As well. But yeah, when I booted it up, it seemed to be running better. And then I was like, oh, this looks a lot better. And then I noticed it had defaulted to graphics mode.
Ah. All right, so what this is, Darren, just sorry, it's a game trial. It's 2 hours game trial. It's 2 hours of full game.
What, through premium?
Yeah.
You're better off just downloading the demo. The demo almost gave you that, didn't it?
Oh, no, yeah, yeah.
Why have that on there then? Oh, well.
That's a shame. I got all excited for no reason then.
I was thinking, oh, that's a bit early.
Yeah.
Although the game came out, April, May at a time? Just before early summer, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it's still fucking full price everywhere as well. I've been waiting for a sale, but...
Yeah, I think it's sold really well, hasn't it? Like, yeah. I heard the game director and stuff had given himself a nice raise and kind of started looking at other stuff going forward as well. Obviously going to make a lot more money as well with the PC version.
Yeah.
I tried Wayfinder.
Oh, what's that then?
Wayfinder Echoes, isn't it? Or whatever it is.
Oh, yeah.
So I was hoping that would have a boost because it's kind of like, again, you can play it in like 1080 at 60 or like high resolution, but obviously you lose the 60. And it's the art style of the game is very kind of Fortnite-y, so the better the resolution is going to be, the better it's going to look for the characters. And I didn't particularly see much of an upgrade, although I'm sure there is light upgrades going on some of the games.
Right. Because
of, obviously, the PSSR or whatever the hell it is that's flapping about. Elden Ring I tried, I stuck it on. Again, it seems to run slightly better. I don't think it still hits a solid 60, but it's reasonable enough, and if people want another excuse to go back to Elden Ring, then that's a good call. Final Fantasy XIV seems slightly sharper. Again, it might just be this PSSR going on under the hood, and it seems to run smoother. Again, I'm not sure. It hasn't had a pro patch or an update, and strangely enough, the new DLC for that patch 7.1 comes out tomorrow.
Oh, yes.
So it's going to have the new 24-player raid and other bits and bobs to it. I'm obviously behind on the story because I stopped playing because I ran out of equipment slots. I read today in the patch notes that they are making an update to the Glamour Dresser, which could solve my problem for a little while.
Nice.
So apparently you can now save all 5 pieces of an outfit to a Glamour, and it will take a single slot instead of 5.
Oh, that's a lot better.
So I've filled it up with 800 items, and I guarantee you there's a hell of a lot of those are going to be outfits, especially like obviously the old artifact outfits and stuff. So fingers crossed I'll log in tomorrow and that will have shrunk down, or if I can pull them out and see what goes on. Because if I combine the outfit together, I'm hoping you can still choose each individual piece of that outfit as a glamour rather than you're forced to glamour the whole outfit over yourself.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Because that kind of defeats the point of being able to mix and match glamours to make up different outfits.
Yeah.
Another game I briefly tried when I first got my Pro, because, again, it is another game that, to me, was one of the biggest disappointments of the year after I've been looking forward to it for ages, and that was Grand Blue Fantasy Relink.
Oh, yes.
And the PS5 Pro does absolutely nothing to that game.
One
So
wouldn't
you are stuck with it looking fantastic and running at a shitty 30 FPS, or having it looking atrocious and running at 60 FPS. So if I can think of literally one of the single games in my collection that I want to get a pro update, it is that. Because to me, there is no reason why that game doesn't run at higher than 1080 at 60 anyway.
Yeah, with the art style.
It's not like a massively demanding game or anything like that. It's because of the art style. It's because it's the 2D shell-shaded art style. It doesn't particularly translate well over, like, under sort of like 1080p.
Yeah.
Especially when the characters are so zoomed out from the camera, you lose all the detail and it just goes bleh.
Yeah.
And that's kind of sort of peeved me off, because obviously you remember, Webby, at the start of the year I was like so excited to play, obviously, Granblue Fantasy Relink and Dragon's Dogma 2. They were like two of my biggest games of the year, and they both ended up being massive disappointments. One, because of the game itself, and two, because of the delivery of the game we actually got.
Yeah.
Or it just was poorly optimised. I mean, the fact that game still came out and basically gave you the same graphics options that they said the game was going to get when it was on the PS4 is just beyond me. Like, right, you announced this for the PS4, then you said it was going to have different graphics options, which they were going to maybe utilise for the PS5 Pro, and then I was like, oh, sweet. So when it's on the PS5, it'll just be all good, yeah? And it's like, no, you're basically getting the same shit as what the PS Pro had. What's the point there? So yeah, that will do for now. There's a couple of other things I've played, but I'll
oh, mate, that's
cover
cool.
those in a little bit.
The only other game I've actually played this week is, you're going to think, fucking hell, Mark, where are you getting the time for these big-ass games? I actually started Persona 3 Reload.
Oh, nice.
So, and then that came out in like March this year on Game Pass. I just never got round to it, and I thought I want to play this because I loved Persona 4 Golden.
Atlas fans are loving it this year, probably.
Yeah. I played about 4 hours-ish. I'm enjoying it, but to me, it doesn't have the same magic of Persona 4. Like, the whole story is just not as, because it felt epic with Persona 4. You're this kid, you're in a new town, you come off the train, you meet all these people. This one, you're like a new student to this town, but it's like, it's weird straight away. It's like, there's a hidden hour at night time, and you're in this building, the student accommodation, and there's cameras in your room, and they're spying on you because they think you're this guy who doesn't get affected, and you don't get affected, so you join the gang. And I'm like, okay, this is a bit odd. Not, as in super cool as Persona 4, but it's still enjoyable, and it has all that Persona stuff that I talked about with Refantazio. You have your days and they tick down. You got, you spend time with people, building your relationships and all that jazz. I love all that. But yeah, it's good. But as I say, it's no Persona 4, but it's still half decent.
I imagine, because obviously I own this, but I haven't started it yet or anything. Did they censor the way you bring out your personas, or have they kept all that in there?
No, you shoot yourself in the head.
Yeah, so they did keep that then. Yeah. Right, yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's pretty cool. And the art style's nice, and obviously the anime cutscenes is really nice as well. And yeah, it's more, I can't really talk about it too much because I've not played it enough to really give a really in-depth thing, but because these games are really long, so 6 hours is kind of nothing really when it comes to these type of games. But
if you're a JRPG fan, this year has been amazing for you peeps. There's been so many.
Well, the problem is, yeah, it's been great because there's been so many, but it's finding the fucking time to play them all is the hard bit. When you've got multiple 70, 80-hour games coming out in a year, there's only so much time you can find. But now I'm quite lucky that I'll say lucky. I'm being a bachelor for the next 3 weeks while the family's in Australia without me. I'm gonna bang this out and play a fuckload of COD. So that's my plan, and maybe try and get Unicorn Overlord done as well, because that's another long ass fucking game. That's
actually a game that I hear a lot of people talking about when they're talking about Game of the Year lists.
Yes, I mean, it's great. It's really good. Yeah. Well, I've not talked about it a lot on the podcast
as well.
Yeah. It's not a game I've been talking about a lot on the podcast, but I looked at my game plan. I played it for over about 25 hours. And I've only done about half the map. So I've got a lot to do, but it's kind of it has been my chill game. Every evening I'll play like an hour or two while the missus is putting the kids to bed. Because it's quite chill, really, to be fair. So yeah, I'm going to be playing some more of that as well. So there's lots to play, and so yeah, going to be lots to talk about in the upcoming weeks. But yeah, it's all good. That's all I've played.
Peebs?
That's about it, I think, for me. What I've already sort of discussed.
All right. So Peebs, when are you gonna buy Drag of Age, the Veil Guard, as I say?
I've never played any of them, mate, so...
Oh, you don't play any
interest me whatsoever. No.
Well, so...
Don't interest me at all.
I did see a bit of news about it this week that I just wanted to briefly mention. Apparently, rumours on the street is it's not even sold... It's only sold about 500,000 copies, which is pretty dire for a AAA game coming from EA. But apparently there has been there's been a lot of over 30,000 refunds on Steam for this game, which is very hefty, to be honest. Because on Steam you can refund a game if you've played it for less than 2 hours or under 2 weeks. So that's crazy, absolutely crazy. That's all I'm going to say on that. And you stole my other news about Death Stranding.
And obviously the Stellar Blade DLC stuff.
Yeah. Oh, when's it going to come out on PC? I really want to play it.
I think it's the end of the year or at some point. It all depends on what the thing was, because originally the game was advertised for PlayStation and PC.
Yeah, it just
but
says...
then I think, strangely enough, Sony stepped in and kind of sort of said, like, oh no, we want you to... To me, Stellar Blade almost felt like an apology from Sony to gamers, in a sense, for basically, like, fucking us over from things like Senran and Kagura and that. And sort of like, see, we do still allow games like this to sort of come out. Strange enough, it actually didn't get a massive slating in the media or anything, did it, really? I mean, there was a few sort of publications tried to drag it, but it weren't like when it came out there was all this, like, this is corrupting our kids kind of a thing going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
That you used to get.
All I can say is coming to PC in the near future. No concrete dates, which is unfortunate.
So yeah, I did also play a couple of other things. I played a demo for a game called AI Limit, which is a Chinese-developed sort of anime game, very much in the vein of Dark Souls. It reminded me a little bit of Code Vein.
Oh, yeah.
But I actually much preferred Code Vein to this. I mean, it's fine for what it is, and it looks very much like a work in progress kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But to me, it's almost like, I've played this kind of thing before a little bit, but it's okay, I guess. And the other one I did try this week was that Sword Art Online Hollow Fragment.
Which you moaned at me about.
I have not had a good time with that.
A Fractured Daydream, you mean?
Yeah. So it's like, the story mode stuff is fine, but then you're kind of put into like a massive part of an open world that you only can explore a small portion of. because it's like walled off with invisible walls.
Yeah.
And you're like, why the fuck is this entire area here if you're only allowed to access a small part of it? Just give us a small map. So then you'll be running around that entirely too small map, or the small part of the map that you can explore, and you're running back and forth, checking absolutely everywhere in the entire area. And then you'll finish the mission, and it will say you did 1 of 3 missions. And it's like, there was only 1 mission there, mate. There was no other missions. Like, I went around the whole part of the map I was allowed to explore, so I don't know what crack you're smoking, game. And that happened a few times, and I was kind of pissed off at that. Because obviously you know where the missions are, because you go to the area and you'll see like the little keyboard or something to start the mission off or whatever, or you'll see a boss sitting there in the distance and to obviously attack, but there's nothing. But then there was also parts where I was going into the free roam part of the multiplayer.
Yeah.
And I found 6 enemies in 50 minutes.
What? I've never had that problem in free roam.
Woo!
Wow.
Yeah, so it's like I was running around twice, 2 runs of like 20 people, and I was literally like found 6 enemies, and they were all bosses, like the boss things you kill to obviously get the chest to open, and they're repeat and like, should I say, like repeated constantly as well. It's like the same 2 or 3 enemies.
Yeah.
And then there were no other enemies. It was telling me they were on the map, but they weren't on my screen. It was like they were underground or something, but there was no way to get underground. And then you go into other areas, and it's like, this is for people that are level 80 or something, and you're like, I'm level 20, mate, and I don't level up. Like, you don't level up in the game. I don't get it. Like, you literally never level up. And I literally brought the map up. Every single person who was in there was level 20. Like, even when you kill enemies, all they do is they drop gold. They don't drop you like the items they do in the campaign.
No, your character levels up as the more you play the games. I'm like level 46 or something.
Yeah, I'm rank 7 and my character level was 3. But yeah, in the free roam, everyone was 20, and like there's no way of leveling up or doing anything. And I was just like, what's the point? And then I went in on one of the missions, and I found like a level 6 legendary item. And then in the next mission, I got like a white common with better fucking stats than the legendary.
The problem I'm finding with the game, because I'm enjoying it because it's my little handheld kind of fun times on the Steam Deck.
Yeah, I can understand the drop-in, drop-out kind of thing, yeah.
But the problem I'm finding is the game doesn't seem to be very popular. So I'll drop into a co-op missions, and it's like 4 people, and the rest is AI
that's
now.
all I've gone in with, 4 people, 1 person literally controlling each team, and everyone else's computer.
Yeah, well, on launch week it was quite busy, but I feel like people have dropped off it pretty quick.
Because you don't level up. That's probably why. Yeah, you literally never feel like you're leveling up. It's like you're running around. That was when I was in the free roam area. I was in like the kind of, because there's 2 of them. There's the green fields, and then there's that rocky place, like the rocky area, which is one's obviously Sword Art or Alfheim, and the other one's from Gun Gale. So it kind of makes sense in that. But then I was in the other area, and I was running around, and I was killing loads of enemies with the stilted combat that I find quite frustrating. With the flying enemies who are annoying and keep running off, and you can't really track them down. That I find the lock-on frustrating as crap.
Because you lock on in. Yeah, because you use your right thumbstick to look around, but it changes your target, and that is very frustrating.
Yeah, and you kind of like the block button and all of that. I kind of get it. But then even like when I was doing the co-op stuff, one of my quests for the dailies or whatever was like, use your thingy abilities in co-op missions. Yeah. And both times I've done co-op missions, I can't use any abilities. They all have padlocks on them.
Yeah, you ought to unlock them as you play through. You don't unlock them by the end.
No, the padlocks don't disappear, mate. I still had them up by the boss fight at the end, and I could not use skills. Yes!
Oh my god.
Yes, mate.
That's really
I have not
weird.
had a good time with this.
Oh.
I enjoyed the, like I say, I enjoyed the beta loads, like when there was like, I just people playing it. But then there's there's just weird shite going on with the game that might be a server issue or something, I don't know. But every character I've used going through, I can't use their abilities. They're all padlocked. But then when I'm playing the single-player stuff or I'm in free roam, I can use their abilities.
Because it like, so basically they're padlocked and then like a little ding will come up when you've unlocked it and then all three of them will be flashing. So then you press one of them. Up. Yeah, then you press one of them to unlock the padlock and then you can use it.
Yeah, so it's literally bizarre, mate. There's obviously things with the game I don't get, and the fact that for a game that's kind of pretending to be like a weird MMO, with the season in the game, which I think is like a fake season.
Yeah.
Because it's obviously like, oh, this quest unlocks in X amount of days and all that lot, and I thought, well, this is obviously just for me, because these would have been unlocked a while back when the game first came out for most people. And like I said, you just don't level up. So it's like I remember going into some of the free roam stuff early on, and then I go back in there like levels later on with better gear and everything. Still takes the same amount of damage to kill an enemy. It's still like I don't do any more extra damage when I'm hitting an enemy. It's just it's weird. It just doesn't feel like there's any progression in it whatsoever. Outside of just things being cosmetic, and it may be giving you a stat of like, oh, this gives you an extra +4 to like heat damage or wind resistance or something.
Yeah. I'm still enjoying it, man.
I'm going to stick with it a bit more. I'm going to try and stick with it because obviously I like the franchise and everything like that. But there's just parts of the game where I'm frustrated, and I'm going to say this, and it might come across as a little bit cruel. But Japanese can't do shooting in any fucking game I play. Like, it's just terrible. So I tried using Shion, who's like the sniper, because I had it for a daily. And you can't lock onto enemies with the snipers. You're just left with like the scope. And the hit detection, the shooting is fucking abysmal. Absolutely abysmal. And I actually remember sitting back and thinking, like, actually, I'm trying to think of it. I haven't played many shooters made by Japanese companies that are actually good. Like, that seems to be a more of a Western thing.
Yeah.
When it comes to good shooting mechanics in a game. But yeah, so yeah, at the moment it's kind of a game that, I don't know, part of me wishes it was just lost in the post.
Oh, no.
Forever, kind of. Because I've obviously got like another Sword Art Online game, because there's been quite a few of them.
Yeah.
Which is more story based. I was just kind of into this one, and it's just a shame that obviously the players have obviously dropped off pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's a shame.
I mean, it is to be kind of expected to a degree with any game. That just generally happens like a week or 2 weeks after launch. And some people might have picked this up to tide them over before Call of Duty comes out or the new EA football or whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's just so many weird mechanics and stuff in the game where I'm just like, this could have been so much better. You could have done this so much better. Actually had the leveling system working properly. Actually had leveling. Because when you're in the campaign and in the co-op missions, whenever you defeat an enemy, they drop crystals and stuff, don't they?
Yeah.
And things. And obviously picking those crystals up will slowly increase your attack power and your HP.
Yeah.
And obviously work towards levels and stuff. When you defeat enemies in the free roam, gold.
Yeah, I don't really play I've played it a few times. It's not really my cup of tea, but I do enjoy the co-op campaign.
Kind of go into it because some of the like quests are
your dailies and all that. Yeah,
mode and get X amount of kills with this class or whatever, and you just think I'll just quickly jump into a free roam.
Yeah.
I find it a bit weird that every time you go into multiplayer, it comes up with if you disconnect from this mode, you'll suffer penalties and all that kind of stuff. And it's like every time you go in.
Yeah. Just got to ignore it, mate.
Yeah. And then when you go in, it just says at the bottom, excellent. And then I just remember sitting there thinking, it won't be. Is it loading? Yeah. So, yeah, frustrating. But again, like I didn't pay full price for it anyway, so in the end, with all the discounts and that I got after it, God did get lost. But yeah, bigger player population. I think it might end up with a bit of an uplift during what do you call it? Black Friday and all that lot coming out.
Yeah.
But then again, it could end up being yet another one of those cautious tales to Japanese developers to stop making always online games.
Yeah.
Because I've heard that you can play the story offline, but every time I go to play the game, it wants to connect to a server.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of wondering if that is the case or someone was talking out their arse.
I reckon it's
because it's like I do kind of get cautious when it comes to sort of like always online games, especially if they want you to pay full price for them.
Yeah.
Like, I think this would have probably done really well as a free-to-play. But obviously the online aspect would need to be a lot more fleshed out and stuff.
Because already selling fucking characters for like 20 quid. I'm not paying 20 quid
it's a character pass, isn't it? But it's for 3 characters, but it does seem kind of excessive.
Yeah.
And there is microtransaction stuff in there as well, I believe, for like character outfit stuff.
Yeah, there is.
Cool.
Right.
So yeah,
I think that's it, isn't it?
Pretty much. Yeah, ending on a bum note, unfortunately.
That's all right. I was just looking at the time, and I know it's Peebs' bedtime now, so I don't want to keep him up any longer.
Yeah, I'll be in bed shortly.
So on that happy
10
note,
10 o'clock is late for me.
Yeah. So on that happy note, I think we're going to end it here, guys. It's been awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming on, Peebs. Thank you so much. It's been good to have you back.
Good to be back. I'll see you in 2 years' time.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. So from myself, Peebs and Darren, it's been awesome. Thank you, everybody. We will see you next week. Goodbye.